I'm faced with this invitation that Larry accepted to go to Talbot Huddleston's party for Dennis O'Riordan. Talbot and Dennis, 2X.
Talbot Huddleston has a lot of nerve, doesn't he? Do you suppose he knows about you and Dennis?
Well, I'm sure if they're friends that Talbot was the one that recommended me.
Oh, Karen.
I'm sorry, Viki. All right. So what should I do? Should I faint or get nauseous before going to this party? You saw me at Larry's celebration when I first saw Dennis O'Riordan. I mean, I could barely get through the rest of the day. How am I going to get through a whole evening with the two of them laughing and leering at me behind my back?
Karen, you're going to look them straight in the eyes because they're the ones at fault here, and they're the ones who should be worried. You remember, they are both men in public positions, and they have a lot to lose.
Viki, I don't think they have anything to lose. Otherwise, they wouldn't have invited me to this party. I think they think that it and me are a big joke.
Well, fine, then you'll have the last laugh.
How do you figure that?
Karen, because you've changed, and you're still changing. You're trying to make yourself into a really good person, but those two will never even try to change. They will cheat on their wives and run around until they die or get caught, whichever comes sooner.
Well, I think that's all very good in theory, but that's not going to help me get through being in the same room with them. Just because I've changed and they haven't is not going to help me get through that evening.
Well, you have to get through it. There's no way around that. You can't hide.
How can I help but hide when I feel guilty and rotten and ashamed?
Then stop feeling guilty, rotten, and ashamed. It's part of your past, and that's behind you.
How can you possibly say it's behind me when I've got this party in front of me?
Karen, why did you ask me to come over here? You have no intention of listening to anything I have to say to you.
Viki, that's not true.
Yes, it is. Because you've had an answer for everything I've said since I walked in here. Some sort of a negative response that indicates to me you have no intention of being positive about anything. I mean, I'm going to believe you when you say that you don't even want to try anymore.
Well, it's just very difficult that every time you start to go up the mountain, you get up a few feet, and then you meet with a rock slide. It's just very hard sometimes, Viki. It's just very hard for me to cope.
Please don't cry, Karen. Because that's too easy. Giving up is a very conscious decision, and that is something that you cannot blame anyone for, not even Marco Dane. I think you better say what you have on your mind.
I don't think I should.
Yes, say it. You're very angry with me. I can see it in your face.
Yes. Yes, I am. Because I don't think you could possibly conceive of what my guilt is all about. Here you are. Here you sit, Victoria Lord Riley. You've always had everything easy. You've always been respectable. I don't think you could possibly conceive of what my guilt is all about.
You don't think so, do you?
No. No, I don't. I mean, I know that you've tried to help me, and I know that you mean well, and I think you know what you're talking about, but you don't. You make it all black and white. You make it sound so very simple.
Karen. Honey, I never meant to imply that it was simple. And for your information, I do know what I'm talking about. Oh, for heaven's sakes, why do you think I befriended you when I found out about your prostitution?
Because I think you're a very kind lady, and because I threw myself at your mercy, and mostly because I think you love Larry a lot.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you something. That's only a little part of it. It's going to come as a big, big shock to you to find out that I felt a great deal of compassion for you, Karen, because I have lived that whole torture. I know exactly how you feel because I have been there, Karen. I have known all that guilt and that shame.
You were a...
No. I did not literally prostitute myself, no. But I used to pick up men in bars, Karen. In bars that would make the River Rat look like the Ritz. And I did it all under the name of Niki Smith.
I think we have to go back. I'm absolutely lost.
Yes, well, so was I. That was part of the problem. You see, actually, I'm very surprised nobody else has told you this. About 9 years ago, I had a nervous breakdown, and it manifested itself as a split personality. On the one hand, I was Victoria Lord. I was Victor Lord's very proper daughter, living under a very strict moral code. And on the other hand, I was a girl named Niki Smith. A very cheap, vulgar and promiscuous creature who wore bright red lipstick and very trashy clothes and had absolutely no inhibitions.
Incredible.
So you see, I can identify with your double life because I had one too. It wasn't exactly the same. Although I can tell you mine was terrifying because I couldn't control it. You know something, when I look back on those days, it makes me want to be sick. Do you know one of the things I used to do as Niki, my handwriting changed? I used to write in a sort of a childlike scrawl. It's a mess. And I wrote threatening notes to people. I mean, really threatening notes. I think that's what shocked me the most, because it was the only visible proof I ever had that Niki existed. It shocked me to know that I could be so mean. And even though it was my hand, it was somebody else who was writing the notes.
Amazing.
Yes, but it's true. It's very true. So now you can believe me when I say that I know what you're going through. And believe me, I know how hard it is to face people when you have a past that you're not particularly proud of.
Oh, Viki. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
No, don't apologize. You didn't know. And I did not tell you so that you'd feel sorry for me. I just hope that you will learn what I learned. Karen, you can live through anything. Anything. And believe me, when your troubles are all behind you, you will realize that you are so much better off than people who've never had to live through anything.
Did you tell me this to help me get through the party?
Oh, maybe. A little bit. It's mostly for your future. Yeah, I think that until there is a great deal more smoke, we don't have to automatically assume that there's a fire.
Yeah, maybe not.
How about if I get the cards and you let me beat you at a game of gin?
All right. Okay, this time.
Oh, good. I always like to know ahead of time when I'm going to win.
Is not dead. It's still around, and we'll take an inside look at it tomorrow on Good Morning America.
Next on General Hospital, Gary may be pushing Gina into a new relationship. Wednesday, it's the Bradford men against the Bradford women in the funniest battle of the sexes ever on 8 is Enough. Then, Farrah Fawcett Majors is back to help save a little angel from a diabolical murderer on Charlie's Angels, followed by Vegas. And now, stay tuned for General Hospital, next here on ABC.